Hello, this is Mr. Joe, your host. The title of today's video is Why is the News Media Against Donald Trump? Well, for a variety of reasons. For one, he attacked them publicly, which he can't do. I'll get into that in a minute. We'll go over that. But in 2016, when Donald Trump started running, he came out, he said he wanted to deport illegal immigrants in the country. And right away, the news media, the leftist, liberal, woke ideology of the newspapers, magazines, and TV run by the same people, the same heads of, excuse me, the same heads of corporations. Right away, a news media campaign went into effect. Donald Trump is racist. Well, according to the leftist liberal woke ideology, anything you say is racist. If you criticize and have a legitimate criticism of, let's say, a senator who happens to be Spanish, but you don't mention that, then you're a racist. You criticize a woman, then you're a misogynist. You criticize this person that has something to do with racism. The Democrats think they're being clever. By every time you say something against them, whether a man or woman, you are a racist of some sort, which is nonsense. But like I said, you have a well organized media campaign and script in 2016 going into effect. Donald Trump is racist. He's a threat to the country. And why did they come out? I mean, they must have known he wasn't a racist. But why were they so against him? Because Donald Trump is not your regular politician, either Democratic or Republican. The Democrats are like people from another country or people from another planet. That's the impression they give me. They don't care anything about our democracy. All they want to do is to get rich at taxpayers' expense and to hell with everything else. And they don't care. Look at California. You have an enormous amount of homelessness and poverty, crime, drugs, while politicians are getting rich and the poor get poor and the middle class is struggling. And it shouldn't be like that. That's another story. Of course, we have the parasitic blight known as the Federal Reserve, which siphons off wealth from the middle class. But that's another video I intend to make in the future. But Donald Trump was targeted by the news media, Bloomberg Press, CNN, MSNBC, all these news media who say get the facts. They don't know what the facts are. Or if they do, everything's twisted and perverted that we have to be in war in the Mideast. Things have to be a certain way. And it's just incredible to me that half of our nation voted for a party, the Democrats, which have really no legitimate agenda other than the abortion issue, which is really a side issue. It shouldn't be a major issue. They've taken it up, and you have the other platforms they're on too. I don't know, the insane trans platform, but I intend to make another video about that too. So Donald Trump was targeted by the leftist liberal woke ideology news media because he's not a team player, at least not with the Democrats. And the news media, they didn't like that he's not going to support their agenda naturally, and he wanted to deport immigrants. But let me see. Oh, the other thing he did in 2016, Tucker Carlson made a video about this too. He criticized George Bush as being a war criminal for starting the war in Iraq with then Saddam Hussein. Many people alive now may not even remember that. But essentially, the government lied like they've been lying for the last 100 years or 150 or whatever. I don't know. They lied and said there were weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, which isn't true. They didn't want to say. I think Donald Rumsfeld came out with a book called To Start a War. He said everyone knew they didn't have nuclear weapons, but they didn't want to say it. So, what are they going to say? Well, they're weapons of mass destruction. And whoever hears that naturally thinks of nuclear weapons. But there was none there now, just as there's not any there now. Donald Trump bombed Iraq again. Sound familiar? We're always at war with the same people. The only solution is a two-state solution in the Mid East, to have a Palestinian state with the capital in East Jerusalem, and for Israel to go back to their I believe, 1967 borders. This was laid out by the Arab Confederation or Emigre. I can't think of what they're called. The Arab states put this peace proposal to Israel: go back to your pre-1967 borders and have a Palestinian state alongside of Israel, and you could have full diplomatic relations with the Arab states. But they don't want to do this. And if Israel doesn't want to do this, then we, the United States, are under no obligation to support Israel. Nowhere in the Bible does it say that the United States should support Israel, or Christians are to support Israel in a constant war. Think of that. 1990, we were bombing Iraq. Then Saddam Hussein was executed 10 or 13 years later. Now we're bombing Iraq again because they may have had nuclear weapons. It's just insane. We should get out of this insane Mideast war. If Israel doesn't want to make peace, then we have no obligation to continue. But getting back, so number one, Donald Trump was against the left agenda, what they stand for: abortion and transgenderism, etc. The second reason is, as I said, he criticized George Bush. And you don't do that among either Democrats or Republicans. But the thing is, Donald Trump led the Republicans to victory, so many Republicans, they put up with it. They may have told him they didn't like it, but what they do know is he led them to victory in the polls. So that, like I says, is he said the unthinkable, or he said the unsayable. George Bush Sr. was a war criminal, and he started a war which he had no business doing. Let me consult my notes here. Oh, the second reason the news media is against Donald Trump is because of what I said at the beginning. He came out and he attacked them directly, saying they're fake news several times. Now, even though they are fake news, I call them bullshit news. This is my own conclusion. I just didn't read what Donald Trump had to say or listen to him and come up with this. But you just don't say that. 100 years ago, there was a politician in the 1920s or 30s. He made a comment: the news people are so corrupt, but he didn't do it publicly. And he didn't criticize the newsmen publicly to their face for everyone to know, which is, even if the newsmen criticize you, you can criticize them back without, how do I say it, a direct attack or making it sound too bad, unless they tell an outright lie. But Donald Trump is the first person to say what probably many people know. Yes, they're corrupt and they slant the news, and that's why they're against them. And that's why we have all these protests around the country. Whenever you see a protest in a Democratic city, the Democratic mayors and politicians, they're organizing the protests because they're getting rich off of illegal immigrant labor. They're getting hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars, which they themselves aren't reporting to the government. So that's pretty much the beginning and end of it. Donald Trump made enemies of the news media, directly criticized them, and no matter what he does, they're probably not going to give him credit for anything. You have to remember that. And it is very corrupt. It's a shame. Anyway, that's my video for today. This is Mr. Joe signing off.